Boxing King Media in association with Boxer. Delighted to have with me Shane McGuigan. Shane, media workout rather than public workout. I don't think it was open to the public. Just loosening up for the cameras?
Yeah, just going through the motions. It is what it is at this stage. Like normally the media workouts on a Wednesday. Eddie's was yesterday. It's nice that it's on a Thursday as well, because you can do a little shakeout, and then obviously most boxers will be doing another little shakeout later on tonight to make sure that they're on the weight, and then they're waking up the following day on the weight. So I like this. I like this day to do the media workout. Not sure the boxers will, because they're a little bit hungrier, but at the same stage, like, being active on a Thursday is a good thing, because you are sitting around idle and you do get bored and you want to eat when you're at that stage. So keeping busy is a good thing.
Shane, as a trainer, coach, manager, how much input do you have when you've got two fighters like you have this weekend with Ellie and Caroline, in having a say that, no, I can't have one fighter go this weekend because I've got another fighter?
Look, I can't hold someone's career back, and I can't make it about myself. I need to make sure that it works, and luckily it was in London and we made it work. So, well, we haven't yet made it work, but so far we're on Thursday. We've got 2 more days to make it work, and I think that's just the most important thing. But I understand it. You've got 2 TV channels, one streaming channel, one TV channel, both wanting to get their show on. 2 promoters that want to get their show on and let other people out, and it sounds extremely big-headed and narcissistic of myself to try and be like, no, this show can't go ahead because of me. It's like, okay, well, how are we going to manage this situation? When there was talks, when it was in Manchester, that was a no-go. Of course it was a no-go, and I wouldn't choose one or the other. But it's in London, and obviously Caroline is the headline on this show, so she's going on last, and we've managed to make it work with Eddie's scheduling.
Is it a different type of kind of mental prep for someone like Caroline headlining? We've seen Adam Azim do it at a young age. He was taken away from that for the Eubank fight because that was a good slot for him to be on. But for someone like Caroline, I asked her this question as well, is it that added kind of limelight on you, and which brings more pressure ultimately?
Definitely, it is a completely different thing when you're the main event. And it's great that she's on a smaller venue like a York Hall, and she's not boxing a bigger name, because she gets a chance to be able to make these small adjustments and just get used to it, and that's the beauty of this. And I think, like, she's on a huge platform, but she's in a relatively small venue, and she's fighting for an IBO, which is is still a world title, and really she is the on BoxRec, she's number 1 in the division. Obviously Katie Taylor's not registered at a lightweight at the moment, but Katie Taylor holds all of the belts, and this is the biggest step in her career to move on to bigger things. And I think she needs to go through these motions before the venues get bigger, the undercards get deeper, and and then you get more eyeballs on you.
When you take this leap, and same for Adam Azim, this jump to main event and then fight for titles, there is no going back from that. Before we went to Joshua, some people say the Charles Martin fight came too soon, but it was too good for him to refuse. Ultimately,
it didn't come too soon. It didn't come too soon, because he had to learn on the job, and it doesn't matter if you learn on the job with like 14,000 people in the venue or 20,000 people. You still learn on the job in front of TV, and if you're a star like Anthony Joshua, if you're a star like Adam Azim's going to be a star, Caroline DuBois is going to be a star. Like, obviously, Anthony Joshua's a mega star, and we hope that both of them will get to that status. But when you're going to be a star, when you're pushed as that, you're going to have to learn on the job. It's part of the game. You know what I mean? They're both young adults, and that's every day is a learning day, whether it's in the gym or whether it's going out for a dinner in a restaurant. Like, if you're surrounded by the right company, you'll learn things, and I think that's just the way you got to approach it. And AJ did the right thing going against Charles Martin at that stage, because it made him a headline, it made him a pay-per-view star, and it was even before that when he boxed Dylan White. He started to really be in big fights, big grudge matches, and that's what was drawing the attraction. At the end of the day, it's just who's in front of you. It's just a belt at the end. Like, that's all it is. It's just another belt. It just doesn't matter what belt it is. It's just a belt, and it's an opponent up front.
Was there any talk in-house, yourself, your father, Cycling Promotions, about Matchroom's offer for Adam Azim to fight Dalton Smith?
Promotions are no longer. No, there's no talk in house about Matchroom's offer because the promoter is Benn. He approached us. We manage and we look after Adam, and it was not, it wasn't. It was effectively what Adam's going to get paid in his Arsene Fanyan fight and Petishan, just put together. Like, we're doing that 8 weeks apart or 10 weeks apart. So it's they can say that this is this amazing offer and stuff like that, but it's not an amazing offer, and it's also it's not worthy of a. I mean, it's worthy of more, I believe, like further down the line, like a world title, like to get them to box for that, and a European title. I mean, I know that that's a prestigious belt, but where they're both, and Dalton's a great fighter, where they're both going, their trajectory's going, I think that's the world level. So to do it up there.
When fight
money as well. Sorry, for way more money. Do you know what I mean? That's the end of the day. Is you don't get many dance partners in your weight category from the same country as yourself. So, if you look at someone like Devin Haney, he's got Tank, he's got Shakur, he's got all of these guys, Lopez, Teofimo Lopez. They've got so much depth there that they can just rotate. They've even got prograde people, like are intrigued about and stuff. Like over here, you don't have many. You know what I mean? You got Dalton Smith as a good fighter, and you need to we need to keep both of these guys winning and both of them building up their brands and their status, and then it'll happen down the line.
Jim, what's the latest with Chris Billam if he's here today? What's happening with this Cody fight?
That's what we're looking at. We want to get out before the end of the year. We're talking to Benn daily. It's just he's exercised his rematch clause. We want to get that fight on. There's a mandatory that's also standing there wanting to get at Chris as well. And then obviously you got the likes of Jordan Thompson and Optare boxing, where Chris has got a keen eye on. So all of these things, it's just multiple options. We just need to get something over the line, and I think in the next couple of weeks we will have something signed.
I mean, I know I was there as well in Bournemouth in December, but that was indoors. So if a fight does take place before the end of the year, I mean
December one. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, it would most likely be indoors. Yeah, I don't think there's brave supporters and there's silly supporters. I don't think there'll be many silly supporters going out there and risking it in December in Bournemouth beside the coast. The chill factor alone will be horrendous.
You mentioned the opportunity takes on Thompson this week. I'm sure Eddie Hearn will be on the phone next week to someone on this side. If it made sense, would you go over to DAZN and have Billam defend and unify on DAZN?
Of course he would. I mean, at this stage of Chris's career, everything like big fights make sense. It doesn't matter about it does matter about the platform, because obviously Sky have been very good to Chris, and they've headlined him, and they've and Boxer as well have given him an opportunity to fight for a world title. But where there's opportunity, you've got to go with, and I think it wouldn't be to say that Boxer and Sky wouldn't be involved. They would almost be representing their fighter across on another platform. We'll see what happens.
I just want to go back to last week, Joyce Zhang. Shen, I know you had a kind of a very short career as a fighter yourself, right? But we saw Joyce take a devastating loss. There's been a lot of criticism from ex-fighters, from pundits about, does he have it in him? Is he still at world level? He should retire. And how does a fighter react after taking a loss with those kind of comments?
Yeah, I mean, his age is, he's 38 years of age, so obviously people will think, he needs to, he's not going to get any fitter, any fresher. But this game's all about matchmaking. It's all about confidence, all about matchmaking, and it's all about making that fighter understand his or her attributes. And I think, he was caught in two styles. He was caught in two minds. Should he go light? He went light in the first fight. He went extra heavy in the second. He was aggressive in the first fight. He went super defensive on the second. And it was but he went aggressive when he was light, and he went defensive when he was heavy. It just didn't quite add up in my head. And I just think, his punch resistance definitely hasn't gone. He has one of the best chins in the heavyweight division, if not the best. That shot would have knocked out 99, maybe 100% of heavyweights. It was so clean, and he didn't see it. So, he really fed him the backhand and walked him onto the front hook. And it's 20 stone meeting 20 stone. There's a lot of weight there. There's a lot of force. And he still got off at 9, 10, but he was not fit to continue. So, but you can't discredit what he's done. He's been an Olympic silver medalist, right? He's boxed in internationals all over the world. He started at 21 years of age, right? He's a European champion. He's been a British champion. He's been a Commonwealth champion. He's boxed Takam, stopped Takam. Takam's just gone on to beat Tony Yoka. He's got the only stoppage win over Joseph Parker. It was just terrible matchmaking. That's what it was. Just terrible matchmaking. You fought so hard to get him into that position in line for a world title, and you just picked a horrendous keep busy fight. But that's just the way it is.
I was going to read Tony Bellew said that Joe Joyce will lose to Fabio Wardley now. His punch resistance has gone. It's as simple as that. I don't think he'll beat the British champion now. That resistance was the greatest asset. I'm sorry to say, I love Joe Joyce, but without that punch resistance, he's not above British level. He'll go in for the British title, and he'll get hurt.
You can understand what Tony's saying and the way he's saying it, but and I completely understand what he's saying. What's Joe Joyce without that teak toughness? What's Joe Joyce without that engine that and that slight faster hands? He was very ponderous on Saturday night. That's just gone. But that is not Fabio Wardley in front of him. That's Zhang, a 6'7", 20 stone guy, power with either hand, southpaw, got range, got ability to lean back and diffuse your shots. Fabio Wardley is explosive, and he's dangerous when he's hurt. He's got fast hands like him, but he really could boil down to probably cruiserweight. So a natural man the size of Joe Joyce getting some momentum. Yeah, he might get buzzed, but Joe Joyce got buzzed. Joe Joyce got buzzed by a few people throughout his career, but it's almost woke him up, and then he's just started to get going. You always think, these shots are going to nail him and hurt him, and they never do. And that's the first sign. Well, those last two fights are the first signs. Even though but people forget he got stopped in the amateurs in 2013. So it's not like, was his punch resistance gone then? It wasn't. He got stopped in one round. And hurt. He got stopped by AJ in the amateurs. But it's just about nullifying the power and not getting hit fully clean. And he got hit clean, absolutely bang on the chin, by an unbelievable shot that would have knocked most, if not all, heavyweights out. So the media's trying to spin that comment that Bellew's saying, and I get what he's saying in terms of technically he's a bit lost if he doesn't have that resistance. But no, it's not the case. Joe Joyce, I think, will walk through Fabio Wardley.
Just final one for me. Conor Benn returned to the ring on Saturday night. Did you watch it?
I saw highlights of it. Sorry, go on.
They're very adamant, the Chris Eubank Jr. fight for December 23rd. Just want to get your thoughts on everything that's kind of going on in that circle at the moment.
Yeah, I think the Chris Eubank fight would have to be made at 160. I don't think it would be safe for Chris Eubank to go any lighter. You see when he did that first weight cut and then he didn't quite rehydrate or get... You could see he atrophied around so he lost muscle around his neck and his shoulders and stuff for that first Liam Smith fight. And, and with that, you just lose your punch resistance, you lose your buoyancy. So I think that fight has to go on at 160. But also, if I'm Conor Benn, a young aspiring pro that wants to win world titles, his natural weight is at 147. Go after that. Because he is a star. He's in terms of, people will say what they want to say, and I don't condone drugs, but I'm not a scientist. I don't know how much drugs was in the system, or and I know that it's not a banned substance in UCAD until now, or whatever it was, and I think it was on the worldwide anti-doping. So, but the emphasis for him, Conor Benn, should be going after world titles. Terence Crawford is 35 years of age. Where's he going next? Is he going to go up to 154? Do those belts become vacant? Can he get reinstated as a challenger in some of those belts or win a world title? Because Chris Eubank hasn't won a world title. He hasn't won a legitimate world title yet. And I think he was good enough at one stage to win it, and I think there's been way worse world champions in history, but he didn't get his hands on one. And I think when your career and your book closes, you want to be able to look back at achievements. And Conor Benn hasn't won a British title, he hasn't won a European title. But he's highly ranked in governing bodies, and there's a few people that he could potentially box for to win a world title, and I think that should be the emphasis rather than chasing some grudge match, because once you got to 160, it'll be very hard for him to come back down to 147 safely.
Okay, Shane, appreciate your time as always. Just before I end, have you changed as a person, becoming a father? Has that developed you into a different type of person as well? And you got a lot of young fighters, Caroline, Adam, Hassan. They're young. I'm sure you probably treat them like kids because they're like early 20s. But has that changed you?
Being a dad, of course, it's changed me. It made me realise that work, life, and boxing is just a game. It's just a business. It's not your life. And as much as I still put all of my emphasis into making that, my main focus on a day-to-day basis, when it comes to my work life, but my family life, that's my most important priority. And seeing my kid grow up throughout the years is, they're only young once, so you need to go and cherish it. And I don't think there's been fighters that have potentially walked out. Well, fighters that have walked out recently, and I think maybe I could have stopped that happening, but I wouldn't accommodate all of the things because I don't want to at this stage of my life. I don't want to go and jump ship and go out and train in a foreign country and spend weeks on end away. And I don't. I will always entertain a high work ethic and work as hard as possible. And I believe I'm quite talented at what I do. But with that, there has to be like a work-life balance. And for me, that's the most important thing. Being a dad.
I saw on his social media, I think he went away for a week or so, but did it feel like he had gone away for longer than a week?
Yeah, it was. But you know what? That hug when he, and I was talking to Chris because like the week he was away, Chris was staying at mine because he's sometimes just in between changing flats and he was in a hotel. I said, save your money and just come out and stay at mine. And so like we were both away from our little ones. And like he has that every week when he goes home, like after 4 or 5 days, and then he gets that like hug. And I was like, mate, that's like, it's been a long week. But I had both weekends as well. But then when he come back, that hug, like it's there's nothing like it. There's no winning world titles or anything that's the same. Do you know what I mean? It's different.
Well, we'll look forward to him growing, and maybe one day we'll be interviewing him ahead of his fight or debut.
My missus would kill me, but you never know.
Shane McGuigan, thank you for speaking to Boxing King Media.